Greetings. Today we have part 5 of Unlike Kind Faith. The concept of the non-lingering judgment is restated when Peter says, the destruction of them is not slumbering or sleeping. All the way back in the book of Ecclesiastes 8:11, we find these words, because sin that against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Psalm 10 verse 11, he, and the antecedent is the wicked, hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten, he hideth his face, he will never see it. Ezekiel 8:12, then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery. For they say, the Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. Ezekiel 9:9. Then he said unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, the city full of perverseness. For they say, the Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. Now these statements are certainly true of the false teachers. They do as they please, believing God cannot see, nor hear, or bring them into judgment after death. They believe that since God has not judged them yet, like he did Korah or Hananiah, that he will not judge them at all. Which brings us then to the consideration of verse number 4, the permanence of the perdition, that is the destruction or judgment that awaits the false teacher. The permanence of their perdition. 2 Peter 2:4 literally says, for if the God he spared not, that is, avoided punishing himself, the having sent angels, his messengers, but having cast them down into hell, to Taurus, he delivered them over for the purpose of having been reserved, that is, guarded, kept, observed, and remaining so judgment. I believe it would be safe to say it's between some 6,000 to 7,000 years since Lucifer's rebellion. God promised to cast him into an eternal lake of fire for his rebellion. God has not done that yet. Does this mean God will not cast the devil into the lake of fire forever? Well, certainly not. Notice that Peter uses this very fact as an example against those who, teaching falsely, believe that justice delayed is justice denied, as someone has famously said. First, we should note this verse plainly states God never offered these having sinned angels any forgiveness. He never offered them a chance to be spared from his impending judgment. God simply decreed that for their offense they would burn. He has not and will not waver from that decision. And I would be remiss to not point out the legal terminology that Peter employs here. God did not overlook Lucifer's rebellion as he dragged down the third of the angels under his command. Revelation 12:4 says, in his tail, the dragon's tail, drew, Strong's 49:51, the word suro, the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. The same word is used in the book of Acts when it talks about, it uses the word there, hailing, how Paul was going and hailing men and women and taking them to jail for being Christians. Now, I've arrested a few people. Not many of them go willingly. Most of them have to be hailed or dragged to jail, if you please. Immediately, God cast Lucifer and his legions of demons out of heaven to the earth, and he has confined them to the darkness of the pit, the abyss, or hell. They have already been found guilty of their crime, and the sentence has been pronounced. They're confined unless permission to work among men until the great white throne judgment occurs.